All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, we are back again on the other side of the coin. We're back on our natural time slot. This dynamic trio that we bring once a week in this channel. We are back with the Chelsea News edition. Ameya's here, Kishan's here, myself. You lot in the live chat and you know all the subscribers. First of all, thank you, 5,000 subscribers. Thank you heaps for that. You guys really enjoy us and this combination talking about Chelsea news. So as I said, this is the thing. Once a week, we're back into our natural slot. We will create some nice artwork. I've been talking to some people to design some specific artwork for this particular show. So stay tuned for that. But before we get into all of that, Kishan, my man, how you doing?
I'm good, bro. Just waiting for some proper news to blow up. I know we've had some contract extensions and that kind of stuff, but we want the proper nitty gritty, don't we?
Yeah, 100. We want the proper nitty gritty, man. Let's see. Some people are saying hi, Kishan and Ishan, come back. There's so many Kishans and Ishans, and then we've got Ameya. Ameya, my man, how you doing?
I've been good. Waiting for some football action to be back. Euros start soon, so that should get me hooked on. So, but yeah, as Kishan mentioned, the transfer window. I mean, Chelsea, we know are gonna get busy. We just want them to get busy fast.
That's right. Let's get busy. Chelsea, come on. Arsubian, Chelsea Fan TV, thank you so much for joining, my man. Hey guys, big up. Congratulations again, Miz. We're champions of Europe after all. Thank you so much, my man. I've just lost the chain of thought. I was going to say something. I completely forgot what I was going to say. But anyways, let's get straight into this. First of all, live chat. Thank you so much for joining. As I said, smash the like button. Helps the channel out a lot. Kishan, let's get straight into this. Some Chelsea news, right? Let's talk about Mason Mount, first of all. I've got this penciled down. Mason Mount, Young Player of the Year award. Absolutely robbed, I believe. It's been given to Phil Foden.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'll start things off, right? I think Phil Foden is a very good player. Don't get me wrong. I've praised about him in my timeline several times, and I've said how brilliant he is as a talent. I think there was a time where I thought he was a little bit in front of Mason Mount as well in terms of talent. But later down in the season, I think Mason has dramatically caught up, and they're probably evens at the moment. So, look, completely appreciate what Foden has done in Man City, the growth, the development, what he's done later periods in the Champions League. In the Premier League, I think it's probably Gundogan that probably should be getting all the praise for Man City, and obviously Ruben Diaz, who ended up winning the Player of the Season award anyway. How is Mason Mount not winning this? He's been instrumental in the Champions League. He's been instrumental in the Premier League, played more minutes than Phil Foden, scored some big goals in terms of Liverpool. I remember there was even goals against, I believe, Sheffield United. That was a very good goal. Champions League, Real Madrid, Porto, final, assist, final. There was no Phil Foden. So, Kishan, tell me how has this happened?
See, for me, I'm not sure it's an absolute robbery, if I'm being honest, because this is just a Premier League award, right? I know, like, for us as fans, we can't really separate the Premier League from the Champions League and everything that he's done for us this season. But when you look at in the league, I still think Mount has been more consistent and he appeared on the pitch a lot more than Foden. Because I'm not sure about how many starts Foden has had, but it's a lot less than Mount. But then, you know how it is nowadays, Miz, with the whole numbers thing. And when you look at Foden's numbers, I'd like to think Mount has had more of an influence on the pitch. But then people argue goals and assists have a bigger influence. And I think Mount, for as much as he's played, he's got six goals and I think it was 5 assists. Whereas I think Foden's on 5 assists and 9 goals with his game time. And he did pop up in some important times, because I remember the game against Liverpool when they won 4-1, and that was a game where it seemed like he came out and everyone was like, okay, this guy is going to reach that potential that people say he will get to. So I don't think it's an absolute robbery. I think
who's created more impact, Ishan? Who's created more impact, Ishan?
For us, I'd have to say Mason Mount But again, it gets to a point where people would then say like goals create impact. Like a goal, there's no greater impact than scoring or assisting. But I do agree. Especially because they're both English players and we'll see this at Europe. But if I was picking one of the two, I'd like to have Mount on the team because I think he can have a greater influence and with the mentality thing as well. He seems to be like a notch above everyone in terms of mentality. So I definitely go for Mount, but I'm not sure it's an absolute robbery.
Yeah, fair point. And maybe when you put it that way, perhaps it's not an absolute robbery, but I just still think, from my perspective, if I look at the impact, I still think Gundogan had a far bigger impact. I know it's a young player award. I get that it's Foden, but for me, Mount's impact is far greater than what Foden's impact was. I don't know. Maybe if I'm being biased.
The thing is, Miss, on impact, I would have even gone Declan Rice because I know there's the whole Mount thing, but Declan Rice, if you're talking about consistency over what he was out for a small period, but apart from that, when he was playing, he drove West Ham on, and they finished 6th at a crazy season. So I think even he could say that he was robbed. So there was a lot in there. I think it's a really tough one to make, but I think with City winning the league, that's probably why they sided with Phil Foden.
Perhaps. I want to go to Ameya now, but just before I do that, this comment here from Sutarsan, I hope I've pronounced this right. Miss Foden deserves because Foden got more goals and assists with few minutes lesser than Mount. So I think it's pretty much what Kishan's talking about. But Ameya, what's your take on all this?
I mean, I agree with Kishan's point of view, right? Foden, brilliant player. Ever since he was at the Under-17 World Cup in India, in fact, I saw him play and I was like, he's genuinely special. So I've been rating Foden for a very long time. But exactly, right? That's the comment. Perfect time to highlight this, Miss. I genuinely think that when you look at Foden, he's a fantastic talent and arguably more talented, like his close dribbling and all. It's very similar to how Messi was at that age. So Foden, incredibly developed player, but at the same time, he's got more goals and assists purely because he's been playing in the left wing position, right? Especially towards latter half of the season. I mean, Sterling was benched. Sterling used to play in the B team games and Phil Foden was playing the first team games. So on the left wing as well. And sometimes he's played false 9. So he's played a lot of positions in the attacking 3, Phil Foden under Pep Guardiola. So I think he's probably got more output. But like when you look at how much a team has been carried by a particular individual, I think Mount definitely stands up there. And I genuinely think that all 3 awards have been robbed personally. I know that it's a bit of a controversial take, especially on Twitter. A lot of people coming out and saying like City literally won the league. I mean, fair enough, they did. But I mean, before the season began, I'm pretty sure everyone was saying that City is going to win the league anyway. And I know that they made a bit of a comeback. I know they were 9th at one point of time, and then they went on that amazing run, and then they won the league by a huge margin. Should have won the league by a huge margin, really. But at the end of the day, who would have predicted West Ham to be 6th, right? No one. And that's why David Moyes wins the Manager of the Season award. And then Young Player of the Year had to be Mason Mount. And Player of the Season, I don't know how Harry Kane has been robbed of that. He's got the highest goals and the highest assist tally. So personally, those are the 3 names for me.
I mean, look, I get the whole Ruben Diaz shout. I really do. Because he's made sure that important period of time during December and January where Man City won the league at that point, really. That was the defining moment where everyone fell asleep. They won the league at that time. And one of the key culprits for them was Ruben Diaz. Do you know what I mean? So, and Gundogan as well. And then since then, obviously, they've, their stats in terms of goals conceded is, I think we're second, or they're just a little bit less than us in terms of, So that's a massive shout for Ruben Diaz. But you're right, like Kane in a very poor team. I mean, are we looking at this award as an individual award, which it should be, but it looks like it's a team award, like the team that does... Yeah. I don't know. But look, it is what it is. But I was a bit surprised that Mason didn't get that because I seriously thought he was. I mean, he still ended up becoming a nominated player. But Ameya, what were you going to say?
Yeah, he was nominated for Player of the Season as well, if I'm not wrong. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're nominated for both, right? I think Dele Alli or Sterling or someone, I think even they were nominated for Player of the Season, but then that went to someone else, so then they won the Young Player of the Year award. So I was actually fairly confident that Mount would go to
Right.
win that, but I was surprised that he didn't.
That's actually a big point, what you just said, Ameya. Kishan, you probably agree. If he's nominated for Player of the Season and he's nominated for Young, because Foden's probably not nominated for Player of the
No,
Season, is he? So if he's not winning that, then he had.
he
Oh
should.
man,
Yeah.
there's a glitch here.
Yeah.
There's a
That-
glitch here.
That
There's
is
a
a glitch for sure.
That is a
They've messed
glitch.
that one up. But one
They've
thing I'd say about the comment earlier about Mount carrying us, I think we look at that heavily as like Chelsea fans, and he did carry us. But when they aggregate the whole league up, people don't individually come to us and be like, "Yeah, Mount carried them, so we'll give him."
Yeah.
It's more like Foden had more glory in his game this season, which is, and this award is heavily gone off that, because you can tell, even when with awards like the Ballon d'Or, it's always the guy that scores the goal, the guy that keeps them out, the one that could have the overall most influence won't get it either. So that's the thing with these awards, and that's why the Diaz one surprises me. I know, again, I can't really say Kane was robbed, because you look at Diaz, and I know their stats are they've conceded less than us, but when he came in, they'd already conceded quite a lot of those. Like, I think when they let in 5 against Leicester and all that kind of stuff. So when he actually has played, I'm pretty sure their numbers must be amazing. And he pretty much, if you had to single out a factor, it'd probably be him, and then further down the line, Gundogan and guys like that. But he was a massive difference to actually winning the league. So again, with that one, and I think Kane, another thing with Kane is he started like a house on fire. It looked like he could possibly break the assist record, and he seemed to tail off towards the end. He still ended up with great numbers, but towards the end, especially when the new manager came in, I think he only got 2 goals at the end, and that was about it.
I don't think he
overall,
cared one bit. I don't think he cared one bit when Ryan Mason came in.
Yeah,
but,
so the trophies bit does add to it, I guess.
Yeah, look,
people do
I think
look at that. Yeah,
I think at the end of the day, trophies. This one's a very good comment here from Alex. What more could have Kane done to be Player of the Year? I think trophy.
Trophy.
Trophy. That's pretty much it. All right, let's move on to the next topic. We've got Ziyech. Next up is Ziyech. I do want to bring something up while we talk about this. One's a particular account that's been a football Twitter account that's been given to me by Kishan, and I don't know how much I need to trust this, but there seems to be a lot of followers for this particular person now. Everyone seems to be.
I saw that off a Eunice video.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Eunice did a video saying we're getting Chow Many because she tweeted it out. So we'll see how accurate it is. But she does do a lot, and a lot of it is quite early. So we'll see.
She does, and I've noticed that Eunice actually rates this person as well. You've introduced me to this person, so she's pretty much tweeted this. So 4th of March, she actually tweeted Chelsea to sell in summer 2021. Chelsea to sell Ziyech in summer 2021, or loan move with obligation to buy interest from Atleti, Juve, AC Milan. That was 4th March. That's a long time ago. Do you know what I mean? Like we're in June right now, 6th June, and then. About yesterday or earlier today, which would have been late last night for you guys or for Kishan, she tweeted, SSC Napoli enter the race for Ziyech. Now, I need to talk about this, right? I need to talk a little bit about this because we've been talking a lot about strikers and wingers and whatnot. We've been talking about formation. I'm starting to get a bit worried about this because you guys know this is my belt. This is my boy. Do you know what I mean? This is my boy.
Me and Kishan were looking at each other and having a laugh.
I know. I can see you guys are laughing. You guys are absolutely laughing. I'm concerned a little bit because he didn't feature in the Champions League final. Obviously, he was in the bench. He's been on and off. Obviously, the formation that Thomas Tuchel's playing is not really conducive of him. I'll go to you, Kishan, once again. Could you see this happening? Like, could he be gone from the team?
Yes, He's the one. He's the one out of those sort of attackers that I think, if we were to get rid of someone, it would be him. And like, we have so many players in those positions, and we've talked about this before. If we get a striker, someone like Havertz, who's already been playing, will have to drop back into a 10 position and fight for a 10 position. So that already takes out another one of those roles. Maybe if we change formation, but again, Ziyech's best position is on that right side, and Tuchel seems to like his really direct wingers and not. Yeah. You'd say Ziyech is like a crossover between like a 10 and a winger. He's not your proper winger who's going to take on a fullback and try and beat him. He wants to get his space and put that party piece cross in the post, which he does. So I don't think the profile of manager and profile of player, it does seem to.
Yeah, you're back, bro. You're back.
We're good? Yeah,
you're good.
So the profile of the manager and the player don't seem to match. But it wouldn't really surprise me if we kept him as well. I'm just saying, out of everyone we've got, we're not going to get rid of Havertz. We're not going to get rid of Werner. Pulisic's probably going nowhere. It's between him and Cho, and I'd probably say that because of age and all these other factors, he's the most likely to go if we were to get someone.
Ameya, if we continue with three at the back, which honestly I don't see why we shouldn't. If it's not broke, why fix it? And then I had Ryan yesterday, and it was an absolute masterclass from Ryan once again, talking tactically about getting another sort of profile like Sancho, not necessarily Sancho. I mean, if it's Sancho, but a profile like Sancho. And Ryan was saying that we haven't even scratched the surface of three at the back and the winger play, because it can develop into a monster sort of style of football. And then you can even have overlapping CBs, like the right CB and the left CB can start overlapping as well. And you can really turn into a dynamic back three. Do you know what I mean? So if that's the case, I'm really worried about Ziyech's situation, because if we lock in two forwards at the moment with Mason Mount and Timo Werner, that only leaves one more spot. And at the moment, it's probably going to be Kai Havertz, because we need a striker sort of presence. And if we don't end up getting a striker, he's probably the one who's going to be leading the race for us. So I am kind of worried that where does that leave Ziyech? Because if we don't change the formation to either a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, I think this is quite probable that he leaves, and then we end up getting a new winger, whether it's Sancho or whether it's someone else. I don't know. Sancho, like live chat yesterday, was telling me it's a done deal with Man United. They seem to know, but no one else is telling me that it's done. So what's your thoughts?
I think it's going to be dependent on getting a winger. Like you mentioned, it doesn't necessarily have to be Sancho. But if you do want to play Kai Havertz with the false nine, or basically make him our leading striker, if we don't get a striker in the summer, then it could get tricky, right? If we do get a striker, like a profile of striker like Lukaku, we've mentioned very often, and Kane as well, as we've discussed on this channel several times. But if we do get that player, then I can see Ziyech staying, right? In all honesty, I think it would benefit him. Even in the three at the back system, I know that Tuchel prefers the more direct sort of wingers, and he's also tried playing Ziyech on the left, thinking that he could be more direct instead of playing him on the right at times. Hasn't really worked out for him, but so I don't think it's a perfect match. And if we do switch to four at the back, then I can definitely see Ziyech excelling in that role, right? Like he did under Lampard, like the Burnley game, the Sheffield United game, he was excellent in that game. And I know that he was afforded at the time on the right wing spot, and then he would just cut in and put a beautiful crossfield ball, which would then be converted. So I can definitely see him excelling. But at the same time, like you mentioned, like how Ryan mentioned yesterday as well, if we do stick with the current system and if we don't sign a striker, then we definitely need a goal-scoring winger. We can't have a creative winger, a creative forward, and Mason Mount on the other side, right?
Bottom line, Ameya, next season with the same lot, like I've just seen a commentary from Bobby, which, completely understand Bobby, but I'm worried. I know, look, we need to not forget. How can you forget about the Champions League glory? It is what it is. But we can't be thinking that we're going to be taking this current crop into next season and banking everything on them to deliver a Premier League for us, because they've not produced the goals. So I'm worried if it's the same lot of people. I feel like we need something. And if it's not a striker, as you said,
Yeah. And one more thing, like Bobby said, we have many objectives and stuff. That's cool looking at it from like a Chelsea perspective. But in terms of Ziyech, he'll see himself as a player that always wants to play. He's going to know when he's not playing, he's a bit part player. He's not going to want that.
And he's got an ego, bro. Like, I've been following Ziyech, like on social media, Instagram. Like, he always has this swagger. He doesn't want to be a big
he's
top
got personality.
player. Yeah, he doesn't want to be one of those guys that, like, just call upon me whenever you. No, I'm the main man.
You can see his body language. You can see his body language when he's left on the bench. There's some people that you can read through quite easily. He is quite easy to read. He let his body slouch. He look like he's not ready when he's on the bench, because you can tell he's just frustrated.
Yeah, in his defense, right, he's in his prime, and the players who are starting ahead of him are way younger than him. I mean, they've still got a couple of years to get to their prime. But this is literally Ziyech's prime, and if he doesn't play in his prime, then it's a huge loss for him as well from a career standpoint.
Exactly right, Ameya. That's bang on, because at this point, he wants to play every game. It's his prime time. That's a very good point. Ibsy, thank you so much, my man, for the super chat. By the way, guys, go out there and follow Ibsy on football Twitter. I'm not exactly sure of the handle. Ibsy, if you can put it on the live comment, please, guys, go out there and follow him. Should we go for Grealish? Congrats on the 5K subs. Thank you so much, Ibsy. I mean, I would... Grealish is a dream. Let's put it that way. Grealish is creme de la creme type of player. Do you know what I mean? I think Man United, once again, is touted to be linked with this particular player. Aston Villa have now got Buendia, which we will touch on. There's a bit of a banter that I need to address about Arsenal. So I'm not really sure, because that shows to me ambition from Aston Villa. Or is he the replacement for Grealish if Grealish is looking to leave? I'm not sure. But if I'm Grealish, maybe I stay one more season with Buendia and whoever else that they got, and see if they can do a bit of a madness. And then next season he can move on to a bigger club, because Grealish does have age on his side. So look, I would love it for us to go for Grealish, because I think he's an upgrade in terms of some of our wingers. And look, some of our wingers, like, for example, as I don't want to get rid of them, but Pulisic is injury prone. Callum Hudson-Odoi, I honestly don't think he has developed from last season. I don't want to disappoint anyone. I don't think Callum has developed from last season. I still want to be patient with him. If he stays, I still want to be patient with him, but I'm just providing the honesty that I don't think he's moved on from last season to be a better player this season. So banking on him to do even better next season, I don't know. That's a very difficult ask for me to answer at the moment. But just quickly, boys, Ameya, thoughts on Grealish?
Excellent player, wonderful player, and genuinely, I think he's another player who started off the season brilliantly, but then sort of later on towards the end got a couple of injury issues and whatnot. So couldn't really live up to it. But then the way he started the season, I mean, I don't know what he did in preseason, but he's not the same player that was there at Aston Villa last season. I mean, he was, of course, a major factor in Aston Villa staying up 100% without a doubt. Without him, they wouldn't even have been in the fight. But at the same time, he's developed so much. I mean, the way he dribbles, the way he holds his body, it's almost Eden Hazard-like, if I dare say it. Yeah,
Hazard-like, man. Hazard-like.
It's Hazard-like. So I think he's a top player. But at the same time, I don't know where he would fit in, quite honestly, especially if we do continue with the 3 at the back system. If we do switch to a 4-3-3, then Mount can move into midfield. But with the 3-4-3, Grealish predominantly plays in on the left, and then he likes to cut in. So I don't know where he would fit in if we do get him. A brilliant signing, but could he come in and replace Mount? I'm not sure.
I don't think it'd be replacing Mount. I think Mount would play. Grealish could perhaps play alongside Havertz up front. But then again, what do you do with Timo Werner? Do you know what I mean? Like Thomas Tuchel. So it's, I don't know. Like, it's probably not going to happen. That's the bottom line. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got nearly 50 people live right now. Smash the like button. Helps the channel out a lot. Helps the video out a lot. If you guys are enjoying, smash it. We're going to get into some very, very interesting news right now. First of all, I want to talk about Danny Drinkwater. So I'm just going to bring this up. I mean, what is this guy doing on Instagram? So he's got, I hope you guys can see that. Let me know if you can't see it. Basically, it's written here, still or sparkling, ha ha ha, lovely time in the sun. P.S. The ice buckets were huge. I mean, I don't even know where to start with this particular player. I mean, I'll go to you this time. This guy's having a laugh, man. I mean, this guy's a Premier League champion, I get it, from Leicester. Then he's come to Chelsea for one reason or another, didn't get an opportunity or whatnot. But it's like he doesn't even care. He does not care one bit. He's on something around 120K per week, some ridiculous wages that he's on. And he had a very big contract as well with us when he came from Leicester. It was about a 5-year contract or something like that. I think this may be either the second last or the last year left on his contract. Since Sarri's season happened, he kind of shunned him out. And then after that, he got into brawls in nightclubs, picking up on other players' girlfriends, just being a nuisance all up. And now it's got to a point like he's so shameless. Like, he doesn't even care. Like, he's posting that sort of stuff, like, and he's laughing and he's in Greece. He's having a really good time. I mean, what's your thoughts about it? For me, this guy has to be the worst signing we've ever made in our history of our football club.
100%. 100%. I mean, you can talk about the Bakayokos and the Zapakos all you want, but at least they're going out on loan and, we're cutting down on their wages and we're getting some sort of loan fees, right? But from this guy, we're getting absolutely nothing, nada. And we're paying him 100K a week at least initially you could make jokes like we're paying him 100K a week to train on the football pitch and pick the cones, right? But I don't think he does that either. I mean, I've never seen him at Cobham at all in nobody's photos. I don't even think he bothers going there anymore. He just collects his check and looks at his phone and it says 100K deposited every week. And then he's like, yep, that's it. Great. That's life, man. And honestly, he is ripping a living. Like, he is literally, I don't know, like, this is the biggest scam of all times, man. One of the biggest scam of all times. And we've fallen prey to it, unfortunately. I mean, it's sad and all that he's not, fit in entirely and not got the chances. But at the same time, it's not like he's working to get those chances either.
Yeah.
He got sent off in an under-23 game. So I don't know, man.
I mean, Kishan, man, thoughts on this picture?
It's very nice, isn't it?
He's a ripped body. He's buff. That's for sure.
At least he's maintaining his body. But like in terms of the
I don't think he needed that big of a bucket though.
In terms of the actual signing, I'm trying to think. If we were selling the guy, would we even get 2 million, 3 million? I don't even think we would.
To who? Like, wait.
And at the same time, like, from his perspective, it literally makes no sense to leave, because who is going to give him like even 30K when he can milk 100? He might as well just sit there. That's our mistake, and we have to just take the L on that one.
Bro, whoever did the finance on that.
That whole.
I mean, if it's
this is. Yeah, when you just talk about that whole period, I'm so glad that we're like past that. I know he might still play for Chelsea, but in terms of the players we were purchasing and stuff like that, at least now, I hope now, we carry on getting proper players in. That was the one thing from the Lampard period as well. Like last summer when we would go after our transfer targets and we'd get the first choice or nothing. That was a great period, though. That was a great thing to be like.
Yeah.
You either get who you want or you don't get anyone. I think this season it kind of needs to extend with the whole striker situation. But I'm glad we're not going for these completely useless players now.
Yeah, man. I'm so glad, man. Hopefully we can see the end of all this Danny Drinkwater stuff so we don't get associated with him ever again. And man, what a scam, as Ameya said. What a scam. Far out. We got ripped up hard. All right, moving swiftly now. Let's talk about a little bit more banter before we talk about some of our players. I need to talk about Arsenal and Spurs. Kishan, I'll go to you this time. Emiliano Buendia has rejected Arsenal to go to Aston Villa. I think something around 30 million initial price, moving up to 40 million. And then obviously we also heard over the last 24 to 48 hours as well, Antonio Conte, and get this. He apparently Spurs rejected him, right? So if we look at that, Spurs apparently rejected him because Antonio Conte was too ambitious. Because Antonio Conte wanted to win a title in the first season. This is why they've rejected Antonio Conte, because I don't even know what to say. Like, too ambitious because he wanted to win a title in the first season because he wanted XYZ players. I mean, don't get this wrong, Spurs. You did not reject Conte. Conte rejected you guys because you pretty much sold him a mediocre project, and he's like, I ain't going to be sticking around for this. So there's that. And then the whole Arsenal thing as well, as I said. I mean, look at where Arsenal has dropped. This is no disrespect to Buendia. Buendia is a very good player, but we got players rejecting them for Aston Villa now. Do you know what I mean, Kishan? London has to be blue. Like, there is no doubt about this ever again. Do you know what I mean? Forget we won the Euro Champions League and whatnot. Like that. I mean, that's a massive slap in the face for those two other teams. I don't even want to bring that up. Just in this whole thing, they're a mess, right?
Bro, this is one of the things that, when your team is not doing much in the window. So, like, we've not exactly been busy, but it's so fun to have the other two teams doing poorly around us like this. Like, it just adds to it. It's like if we don't sign someone and you look over and they're in links, you see their fans getting gassed over Buendia, putting compilations out and stuff like that. And then this happens. It's just, and then you hear a lot of fans saying stuff like, oh, yeah, but do we really want him? But then you put a bid in, so obviously you wanted the guy. It's
they wanted him, bro. They wanted him.
You look at,
didn't want him, bro. He's better than half their team, like 3/4 of their team. Do you know what I mean?
If you put the bid in of 30 million, and Villa, I'm not sure if they're playing 30 or 33 with the add-ons. Yeah. If you're willing to pay that much, then the add-ons like over a year of about 8 million. That's not much, is it? For a player of like Buendia status, who's going to come in and he's probably going to create a lot of chances. But
he will. Yeah.
You know what? When the funny thing is, even from a pure football decision, when you look at what Buendia has done and you look at the decision he's made and you see the Villa team around him, you got Grealish, you got Bertrand's amazing players, Whelan, you got Watkins up front. It's just, Emi Martinez was on international break with a guy. He probably sold him Villa as well. And then
probably, yeah. Oh, by the way, he's an Arsenal player as well. He's
yeah.
There was that quote, wasn't it? I think he came out and said, people think it's a step down, but it's actually a step up.
Yeah, it's a step up.
So regardless of people saying that whether Buendia our first choice or not, you put in a bid for him. That means you wanted the guy. So regardless, Villa beat you to the guy. And even if they say, yeah, but Villa outbid us, you got into like a bidding and you didn't outbid them for a player. It's quite embarrassing. And then on the other side, the Conte thing, I'm so glad that he didn't go there, because I can't say I was necessarily scared, because I look at who else they've employed and they had Mourinho there. I think it would have been similar to that. He's more scarier than Mourinho now, though.
Yeah.
But in terms of the other side of it for us is because he did what he did for us, we love the guy, like with the league title and the FA Cup. And just to see him go Spurs would have been so annoying, because then you lose that kind of side. It's similar to Mourinho when he went there. You just lose all feeling for the guy. So I'm glad that didn't happen with Conte. And literally, out of all of the choices that Spurs had, he was the one that I didn't want them to have. He was the one that scared me the most. Now, I honestly don't care. It's like, get whoever you want. They're all a downgrade on Conte.
Keep Ryan Mason, man. Keep Ryan Mason.
Honestly, even if Pochettino comes in, long term, he'll probably get them more solid than Conte will. But I'm not as scared of Poch, because Conte is Conte. Like, he's a winner.
But I'm not scared one bit, man. Thomas Tuchel, seriously, he would look. No disrespect to Conte. Conte's a winner. Wherever he goes, first season, he creates a madness. He does everything, and then after that, he just goes and leaves an absolute atom bomb in the club. But even then, I wasn't worried, because Thomas Tuchel, he's a far better. I think he's a far more complete manager. Do you know what I mean? Like, Conte is very much a counter-attacking player. So that's just my thoughts around that. I mean, Ameya, seriously, for Spurs to say you're showing too much ambition, We cannot accept that. We cannot give you every. I mean, at this point, it's a laughing stock, man. That's just a laughing club for me to reject a manager for showing too much ambition. I mean, what's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, it's a laughing stock. That's what it is. And especially if they lose Kane, oh, it is going to be disaster over there. Honestly, Son would be looking to leave as well, especially if Kane leaves. I don't think Son's going to stick
By
around.
the way, Kane has to go now, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like, that's shambolic.
100%.
That's one thing that scared me. Like, oh, sorry.
Kane and Conte.
I thought
No, go
Conte,
ahead.
like, he would have probably left anyway. I think he's so far down that, and I think that's one of the reasons Conte didn't come, because I read that Kane's desire to leave is so much that even he thought, this is a bit much. But that's potentially scared me. That, like, when you see what he did with
that
Lukaku,
combination.
you're like, yeah, that's one thing.
And plus throwing Son as well. Like, that's, he's got.
Yeah,
but continue, Ameya, bro.
Really good.
Yeah, exactly. And what he did with Costa when he was with us as well, unreal, right? Diego Costa. So that profile of striker is really, really scary under Antonio Conte. So I'm huge relief that he rejected, honestly. And I'm fairly certain it's the other way around. I'm pretty sure it's Daniel Levy, sort of feeding in all the British journalists that we were the ones to reject Conte, just, to hold the upper ground. But that made them look like even bigger fools, right? At least if they'd leaked that, Conte rejected us because he wasn't convinced, they've gone on and said that we've rejected Conte because he was too ambitious. It makes them look even more stupid. So I don't know what the thought process was behind that. But honestly, it's a huge relief that Conte is not going to Spurs. But at the same time, I'm fairly certain that it was Conte who came out and said that, I have a huge list of reservations about joining your club, right? And even he thought that he couldn't make Spurs into serial winners. That's all there is.
But this comment here is bomb. Imagine telling a girl she's too beautiful for you when she's interested. Brent Smith, that's tops, man. That's tops. But yeah, Kishan, what were you going to say?
I completely lost it now.
It's crazy. It's crazy. While you get your thoughts back, I just want to say that we could never have that at our club. Imagine a manager coming in and saying that he, or whether in the future, if it's ever a she, saying that, we want to win on the first season and we want to do this, we want to do that. Imagine our club saying, I don't think we can do that for you. You know what I mean? Like, you're too ambitious for us. Like, oh my days, that's insane. That's insane talks. All right, let's move on to the next one. Mendy. I do want to bring out this particular tweet I did. I'm pretty sure you guys all would have seen this particular video, which honestly touched my heart a lot, man. I was like, wow, this is insane. Let me just bring this up. Here we go. All right, so I hope you guys can see that. Let me just bring that up. Just turn it down. So yeah, this is, ladies and gentlemen, Mendy going back to Senegal, obviously as the Champions League winner. And look at the crowd. I mean, this is such a brilliant story. The guys were touching on this last week, obviously, but it really just struck me that this guy was literally unemployed 6 years ago, and now the entire nation is running after him as he's driving by. I mean, this is something incredible, man. I mean, it's beautiful at the same time, and it's incredible. I'll go to you, Kishan. What a story, huh? Like, the nation is running after this man. I mean, he was unemployed. Like, I bet none of these Senegalese fans knew anything about him at that time, 6 years ago. Now he's a Champions League winner, and everyone's in love with him. Thoughts on that particular video, man?
It's so heartwarming, like, to see that, and it's because his brilliance as well. It's not just he's randomly got there. When he's been in goal for us, I know a few weeks ago we did the whole thing, and we're like, he's not come out with clutch saves, or he don't save penalties. Luckily, he didn't have to save any more penalties. He saved the Aguero dink, and then against Real Madrid, he was so clutch. That was what we wanted from him, and he showed up. Then you look at him in the final, and everything he did was so composed. He didn't have to make any worldies, but he just catches everything. And I think the biggest compliment we can give to him is, I know we had the whole Donnarumma links and stuff, but if you ask most of our fans now, we kind of just look away and we're like, nah, we're happy with this guy in goal.
Yeah, 100%, man. I don't even pay attention to any of the Donnarumma rumors. Like, I know there's African, Cup of Nations that will happen next season, but if we can get ourselves a solid sort of second keeper.
Oh yeah, Miss. That's something we need to speak about actually, because Willy Caballero is leaving, and with Kepa, you've got the whole, and so we will need a keeper agents going around as well. So, be interested to see who we pick up out of those guys.
Yeah, man. Willy Caballero gone, as you said. I'm pretty sure Kepa will be either on a loan or something, because I can't see how Kepa just stays in the bench. Do you know what I mean? He'd want to play, so he'll probably go.
Financially, he's on 190 grand. It's a bit similar to Drinkwater, where we're not going to get that money anywhere else. We probably subsidize his wages to go somewhere else because he's not out of it. If he's not out of it like Drinkwater, but again, if it was like a straight decision and he had to go somewhere on, just say like 80k or just sit on Chelsea's bench for 190, I'm not so sure if he leave, to be honest.
Look, I hope he does. I get what you mean. Like, why should I leave? I'm going to get all my money. You know what I mean? Like a Drinkwater situation. But he's a young goalkeeper. If he's half ambitious to turn his career around, he should be looking to leave and get a first team opportunity somewhere. I'm pretty sure he'll get it as well. You're right. Chelsea will still have to subsidize his salary. You'll probably have to pay 75% of it. Do you know what I mean? And then the other 25%, they'll try and get it from somewhere else.
He got linked to Lazio quite a bit, and now Sarri's their manager. So I'm not sure if that makes it more likely or less likely though.
It could be a possibility, man. Sarri with that shot could bring in Kepa, and maybe that's a good shout. Ameya, what's your thoughts on the video from Mendy as well? And then the thing what Kishan has sort of mentioned, we probably need a backup keeper as well.
Yeah, first up, the Mendy video, excellent, so heartwarming, so inspirational for all those kids over there as well, right? I mean, imagine if even one of those kids, later on decides to actually pursue his football and then goes on to win.
It's like you can dream. It's like you can dream.
Exactly. It's like they saw him and then, they're like, you know what? It is possible. And with the Mane story, I think Mane was always a fantastic talent. I mean, he's from Senegal as well. He won the Champions League as well, but he was a very good player at Salzburg. He was very highly rated at Southampton. He used to score hat-tricks for Southampton. Excellent player. And then at Liverpool, he was always going to be a top player. So with Mane, I think you could see that he's a really humble guy, great guy off the pitch as well. And, donated a lot to charity and all of that, lives a humble life. But yeah, Mane, you could see that he was always that, that fantastic sort of player. But with Mendy, right? I mean, he left the country and then he went to another country and then he had to get adjusted there and then he was unemployed there and then he went on to win the Champions League. There's that extra bit in the story that, gives a little bit more inspiration to those kids there, and hopefully, do go on.
The age that he got his greatness is, he's 29 now as well. So that shows that even when you think it might be done, some can still pop up if you work hard.
Exactly. So that's what I want to talk. Like, it's you can never stop dreaming, right? At some point, I mean, however long it takes, right? I mean, Mendy himself wouldn't have dreamt it ever, I'm sure of it. But now he's like, you know what? Sure. But yeah, about the second goalkeeper situation, Kepa won't be sold. I think it depends, right? We might go for it, we might not. But another interesting option that's come up is Sergio Romero, who's I think left Man United. So we could probably go after him on a free transfer. Should be interesting, but I don't know. I don't know what the board has in mind. But I think if Kepa does not leave and then we have Romero again, then it would once again be a sort of weird situation, because Romero had to settle for third choice this season as well, because Dean Henderson came back on loan from Sheffield United and he was excellent there. But the year before that, I think he was their cup keeper, wasn't he, Sergio Romero? And he used to play the cups when De Gea used to play in the league. So I think he's still a fairly good goalkeeper in my opinion. He was excellent at the World Cup as well in 2018. I think he was really good in the World Cup for Argentina. So I think he's a pretty good goalkeeper and I wouldn't mind signing him on a free, but that's just an outside shout in my opinion. But let's see how it goes. If Kepa doesn't get sold, then I don't know if we're going to sign another goalkeeper.
Once again, Rodrigo, thank you so much for this super chat. There's AFCON in Jan 2022, which we've been talking about. So Kepa won't be sold. Here's the thing. Kepa has to have his own opinion as well about his career and whatnot. Whether we sell him or not, sure, that is a topic in itself. But for Kepa to just stick around as a number 2, and honestly, boys, and I'll get your thoughts on this, I don't want none of this cup keeper and league keeper next season. There's one keeper, and that's Mendy. I don't care. Like, the secondary keeper can play some Carabao Cup games, some initial FA Cup games, but when it gets into the real nitty gritty, I want Mendy to feature in all of them. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to get into that situation that we got in this season where, it's rude not to give Kepa the opportunity. No, next season, Mendy's the number 1. So having said that, is Kepa going to be okay to stick around for a month? I think that's the duration of AFCON Nations Cup. Is he going to play just a month of football? I don't know, unless we are thinking that maybe Mendy will have a injury or something. God forbid he doesn't. But honestly, Kishan, as Kepa, how do you stick around just to play when Mendy is gone for AFCON? I don't understand that. Like, Kepa would have to have some ambition, unless he thinks that whole Danny Drinkwater scam, looks good.
Yeah, it's true. And also another thing with him is, from our side of it, do we trust the guy in goal for a month? Like, the club trust the guy in goal for a month? Because a month in a league season can literally make or break. A game sometimes can make or break whether you win it or not. So I'm not sure if you want. And it's not because maybe you think he'll make a complete blunder, but it's like when you've got your first choice goalkeeper in Mendy with the height and everything, it helps. So with the goal in the FA Cup, he might have not saved it, but he might have got closer. And each micro decision, you just trust Mendy a lot more. The game would have panned out a different way. But what I'm saying with that, I just think we need a nice, tall, second choice goalkeeper. And Kepa needs to get out there and rebuild his career. Because, with Kepa, there is a goalkeeper in there that can do well. It's just our league as well. It's a bit too physical when corners come in, when crosses come in. And the height issue that he's always going to have, but he was a great goalkeeper at Bilbao for us to even trigger his clause. So I just think if he goes to Spain or Italy, like he's linked to, he can rebuild his career, and it's the best thing for him. For us, it's not the worst thing to have him as second choice, but even as a second choice, I think we can do better. Just someone who's overall solid. There's a lot of free agents. Like Ameya said, there's Romero. I think he'd come in. There's even Ben Foster this season at Watford.
Someone's saying Peter Cech. Why not?
Nah. The game that Ameya was talking about where Drinkwater kicked the 16-year-old, that was the one that I was watching because Cech was in goal. He nearly scored he was doing that playing out from the back stuff, and he nearly scored an own goal.
Oh my days.
His days are done.
No. His days are definitely done. But yeah, you boys are right. There's a lot of free agents out there, and maybe we can pick one up. Let's see what happens. Ziyech goalkeeper is probably a situation that needs to be monitored over the summer transfer window. All right, boys, let's go to the next video. This one, I don't know about you guys. I'm being honest. It got me to tears yesterday. It really did. I don't know why I saw this so late. I saw this yesterday quite late. I'm just going to bring this up. Just bear with me, guys. I mean, he says, I've been through a lot. This is straight after, obviously, the Champions League ups and downs, criticism. And I never lowered. Hold on, let me just go from the beginning again. Sorry. I've been through a lot, ups and downs, criticism. And I never lowered my head. I tried to work hard to believe what I was doing. Winning the Champions League is unbelievable. My entire family seeing this, it's amazing. I mean, the guy is in absolute tears straight after winning the Champions League. I don't know why I saw this quite late. I'm pretty sure you boys probably would have seen this. I mean, I'll go to you this time. That broke my heart, man. It really did. I posted something off the back of this particular video saying that I might have, I definitely was a bit harsh on him during Frank Lampard era, but that was more to do with Frank and his style and whatnot. I might have been a bit harsh on him and criticized him about his lack of athleticism. But this guy, for me, he bleeds blue, man. Look how he's in tears. Do you know what I mean? Look how much it means to him. And he's a proper character. Like, he's a role model. Like, I don't know if him and Rudiger, probably two that have faced immense adversity in a Chelsea jersey. Probably Jorginho, because he's been booed by his own fans. And he sees it all. We say in social media, oh, these guys, they don't see nothing. Do you know what I mean? Oh, like as if they're going to see your tweet. No, they do. They do. They do spend time on social media every now and then, and they do see all of this stuff. I mean, what you got to say about that video, man? That was hard. That was heartwarming, man.
It genuinely was. It genuinely was. And it made me so happy because I'm finally seeing so many people back him now. Like so many people who always would tweet against him. And some people still are, get that. But that's what you call an agenda. But I'm not talking about those guys. But, there are so many people who initially, always trash talked him basically. But then, and then the worst part is most of these people abused him as well, right?
Yeah.
That's the worst bit. And I know we've spoken about abuse before and how much we condemn it, but I think he copped a lot. He genuinely copped a lot of abuse, especially under Frank Lampard. So and this season as well, he's copped some abuse coming his way, but I think he's handled it well, right? He's handled it really professionally, and every coach that has coached him has come out and said that he is such a professional guy. And Alex Goldberg's podcast with Tony Mount as well, you can see Mason Mount's dad coming out and saying what a good individual Jorginho is. I mean, if that can't convince you, then I don't know what can convince you.
And you know what, Ameya, the thing is, internally, I've heard from other people as well, like the players absolutely respect what Jorginho does. Pat Naveen was in Matisse's channel not that long ago, and Pat Naveen said, if there's one player that you want to see in training, that's Jorginho. The way he sort of collects himself, the way he, applies himself in the training ground. But yeah, man, continue, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I watched that episode and that was honestly beautiful because that was the time where he was sort of getting so much unnecessary hate, right? I mean, under Lampard, you could get it, right? Because he wasn't doing his job properly. I mean, what Lampard asked of him, he wasn't capable of doing. But when he was doing well, you could still see people coming out and saying that he wasn't doing well, which was what pissed me off, honestly. But yeah, honestly, it's great to see Jorginho like that. I mean, he was always an emotional player. When we qualified for the final as well, you could see how he fell on the ground instantly.
And tears was coming down. Do you know what I mean?
There were tears down his cheeks. So I think he's another player who's been through a lot. We've seen his story as well. He moved from Brazil to Italy, and then his parents convinced him to be a footballer, I think, or something like that. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, I'm not sure how accurate that is. But yeah, it's not been an easy path for him either, especially because of his physique. But then he's proven it. He's done it for two clubs in the Serie A, and then at Napoli, where he really gained recognition. And Pep Guardiola wanted him. And if Pep Guardiola wants you, that you know that you've made an impression, right? Yeah. So, but he chose to come here, and then what a decision, right? He's won the Champions League, and I couldn't be more happy for him.
Yeah, 100, man. Kishan, there was another video which I don't have handy at the moment where he goes to a restaurant, Italian restaurant, somewhere, I believe in London, and they did an absolute shout out for him. They sang for him. They had the Champions League music on. They had like a large drink. I think it must have been a drink. And they gave him such a like amazing reception. He was quite embarrassed, so he was like hiding his face, but at the same time,
put his hoodie up, didn't he?
Yeah, he put his hoodie on. Kishan, I'm going to put it out there. I don't want him to leave. I want him to stay. I know there's a lot of fans out there that are sort of saying, yeah, Jorginho's got to go. We're going to get Declan Rice in. Do you know what I mean? Jorginho, he's not going to cut it in the Premier League. I don't want him to go. I want him to stay and become a, honestly saying, if he's already not a legend, because I feel like if you win the Champions League with us, you have to be an automatic legend, right? If he's not already a legend, I feel like I want him to be a legend for us in the Chelsea, because this story is phenomenal. Now he's won the Europa League with us. He's won the Champions League. Hopefully he gets a Premier League, and I really want him to get it. Then it's game, set, and match. It's literally game, set, and match. What's your thoughts?
I'm literally exact same as you. And throughout, like, since he's come here, I've always seen the guy as a liability. Like, I'm okay at the bottom said Jorginho has always been our biggest. I'm not saying he is now, but I always looked at it because I remember even Miz, you said like when Lampard was there, that's how you'd see it. But I don't think we were wrong to see it that way. I think he was actually like we are. We will be critical when someone is bad, and we will praise him when he's good. We're not like that, and we never abuse the guy as well. So I think his criticism, it was warranted because he just wasn't playing that good. But since Tuchel's come in, that guy he's incredible. And I know he had that. The thing is, with him then, what he's shown under Tuchel, when he had his little blip towards the end of the season, in the Leicester game, in the FA Cup final, then the Arsenal game where that back pass, you could see he's played a lot of football and he was tired. I just knew, like, before the Champions League final, when he had that 1 week rest, I properly backed him to be back to the level. And I know Kovacic was back as well. So there was Kante fit, Kovacic semi-fit, and Jorginho. But I don't think any of our fans really campaigned for Kovacic to be in. And that's partly because you kind of know what you're going to get from Jorginho, and that Jorginho and Kante work well together. So, he's grown massively on me. And another video is when they were in the changing room, and I think the guy's name is Lee Barker, the Chelsea guy, and he asks Jorginho, like, "Oh, what do you think?" And he's like, "How can you even find the words to describe this? I can say amazing, unbelievable, whatever, but this group deserves it." It's like, what else did he say? This group is so close, and he's one of the leaders as well. You forget that this guy is literally the vice captain. So when Aspie's not playing, this guy he's a massive leader. And so I was watching a video with Dan McCarthy the other day, and he said if Rice is to come in, Jorginho, it's highly likely that he'd have to go. But I don't think I agree with that, to be honest. I think I don't even see Tuchel thinks of it that way. I think Tuchel is just so happy to have this guy that the links are coming from within the fans where they're saying you'd have to sell this guy to get this guy. If we're being honest, I think someone like a Billy would suffer, yes, if Declan Rice came in. But Billy is seen right now as that fourth guy. He might go out on loan, but if we want to function properly and push to be and be in all these different trophies, even if we add Declan Rice, we'd have Rice, Cover, Jorginho, and Kante, and that's like 4 6s. That's nowhere near like too much. They could all get enough game time, and I'm more than happy to keep Jorginho because let's be realistic. The kind of price that we paid for Jorginho, we paid 55 million. No one's going to give us anywhere close to that. And if someone realistically, they'd probably say about 25 to 30 million. His influence on the pitch, it goes back to influence on the pitch and being a leader. We might as well just keep the guy now, like forever. There's no point. Until he gets old and then he's,
honestly, completely agree with you. I'm going to put it out there. The whole Declan Rice thing, obviously, we're going to talk about it. I've got Ryan next week in a tactical sort of analysis where we're going to look into Declan Rice, how he fits in to the 6-6 for us and whatnot, and obviously Kova and Kante and all of that. We're going to look into that. But I'm going to throw it out there, and this is no hate towards Declan. So I've already mentioned this in my channel several times. Declan Rice is a fabulous player, is a very good player. I'm not entirely sure the links that we are saying recently that, Chelsea's back interested with him again, Thomas Tuchel. I'm not sure if Thomas Tuchel, tell me where has...
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, when Matt Law came out and said it's driven by Tuchel, I think, if you remember Tuchel saying stuff like, I'll even ask the players for who I think is right. Probably going around the squad and Mason Mount's like, this guy's my best mate. But I get what you mean. I can't imagine this guy to be like head over heels wanting Declan Rice compared to like Lampard wanting him. Tuchel, it seems like, because he's been in all these different leagues and stuff. The thing with Rice is I don't even specifically mean Rice. I mean any DM that comes in. So even if it's Chow Maney or whoever, like Jorginho should stay. It's not necessarily Rice or whatever. I just think if we get another DM in, he should stay. But I do get what you mean in terms of this. Tuchel is not head over heels for Rice. This is the club want him, and he's always been a target because they'll scout a certain amount of players. They'll know of Rice because he was with us. But yeah, I don't buy this, especially for the price that he warrant as well.
Insane price. Alex, thank you so much for this super chat, man. You have been such an amazing supporter of the channel. I cannot, from the bottom of my heart, man, thank you so much. Rudy and Jorgi have been splendid since Tuchel era, but we really don't know how Rudy would behave when it's not all hunky-dory, when he's not in the starting 11. We really don't want players to be the reason for TT to be sacked. I can't picture this happening, man. I think Thomas Tuchel and Rudiger, they're like this. There's been a lot of articles where Rudiger talks very highly about Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel wanted him at PSG. You look at all the stuff that happened post the Champions League victory where Thomas Tuchel and Rudiger are on a bit of a headlock and Rudiger keeps screaming at Thomas Tuchel saying, I told you. Like, these guys are mates, man. I feel like they're mates. And the whole German connection as well. You know, there's a reason why Thomas Tuchel came in and reinstated Rudiger in straight away. Do you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, Zuma, and he's actually mentioned it in the press conference that I didn't really know too much about Zuma. I have not seen him. But I know Rudiger, the German, like he's actually said that openly in the press conference. So, look, I can't see this happening. But then again, you know, Frank Lampard and Tomori in Derby, they were a great, you know, duo, and that kind of broke off last season. So, look, anything's possible, but this would be an amazing, a very, very amazing downfall if that ever happens. I don't think it will happen.
That's a very good comment, though, Miz, because I remember before the final, our whole perception was completely different because it was like, oh, how will this team respond to adversity and stuff like that? And it was pretty much a fair point. Had we lost that Champions League final, we'd still very much be in that. So I do get that point quite a lot, but for now, it's so hard to see because everything looks rosy. But we will see in the coming months if that sort of transpires, and we'll see if these players have those mentality issues. But like we said, when it comes to the Champions League, you're just happy to win that one-off game and take the championship. So right now, we don't care.
100%, man. And look, next season, I'm pretty sure Ameya will agree with this as well. There'll be new challenges and there'll be new issues and there'll be some players that'll be triggered and so on and so forth. But this is where you have Thomas Tuchel, come in and hopefully he does the job and he maintains as Pep Guardiola with Rio Ferdinand recently when he did that interview just before the Champions League final. He said, you have to keep changing the teams around. That's how you keep the hunger going. You can't keep the same players over and over again. So it's really up to Thomas Tuchel. Ameya, let's talk about the next topic. Olivier Giroud, contract extension till 2022. Apparently, this was already done in April, and the news is coming out now. Here's the thing I want to ask you. Do you think this is either giving the indication that we may not be getting a striker because it's not available in the likes of Lukaku, Haaland, and Kane? So we don't really want to settle for a secondary. So we want to keep for one more season Olivier Giroud and hopefully put all our eggs in Timo Werner and Kai Havertz to do the madness up front. Possibly get a winger, maybe. Do you know what I mean? Maybe bolster from a winger point of view because at the end of the day, Tammy is going to leave. So who knows what kind of winger we get. I don't see anyone else besides Sancho at the moment. I know Man United is heavily linked, but our name has been thrown in that mix as well. So how do you see this situation? Do you see it that we may not be getting a striker, or do you think we're just giving him a contract extension just so that we can actually sell him for some money?
I think the timing of it makes the difference, really. I mean, in the article, it was very, explicitly mentioned that it was signed and triggered in April itself, right? So it's not a consequence of us doing it now after we realize that we probably might not get either of those three big name signings. But at the same time, I think this basically puts the ball in our court. Because if you leave Giroud and if you let Giroud and Tammy leave, Giroud on a free especially, and Tammy as well, we probably know that he's mostly going to head out for the betterment of his career. I think that would have put us in a tricky situation. We would have just Havertz or Werner up front, depending on the system we choose to employ, and no options, no backups. And I think it would put us in a very risky situation, and we'd have to experiment like how Pep did this season with the false nine. He did De Bruyne, Ford, and Sterling, and loads of other names, right? So we'd probably have to do something like that next season if it comes to it. But now that we have Giroud, right, for another season for sure, I think that gives us a little bit more liberty that, okay, you know what, if we don't get the strikers the big names that we're linked with, we probably don't have to go for the secondary choice striker and, just as a stopgap signing until we get that. So this is basically us saving money. I think instead of going out and getting someone like, Danny Ings, great striker, but like respect him a lot. And I know we've discussed this earlier as well in the previous episode. But then instead of going out and splashing so much money on a 28, 29-year-old for squad option, and I can see Kishan disagreeing there, and I know, but that was just an example, right? Just an example. Danny Ings was just an example. Not that I have anything against him. In fact, I loved him since his Burnley days. In fact, so I really love Danny Ings. But instead of signing another stopgap striker, we've said that, it's either we go all out for these three names, and if we fail to get them, then we'll keep Giroud for another season. I think that's what the chain of thought has been in our executives' minds to sort of make this decision. But let's see how it goes. And if we do get these strikers, then I can easily see us getting like 5, 7, or 10 to 15 million probably for Giroud. But yeah, I think that's how it'll play out.
Well, there's some strong rumors, Kishan, that Zlatan Ibrahimovic recently came out and said he would like a winner like Giroud at AC Milan. And apparently Giroud was very keen to move to AC Milan as well. His wage expectation and all of that. Apparently AC, I'm not sure how they're getting all that money, but, Italian league are in the mud at the moment financially. But apparently it was all set and go. How do you see this, Kishan? Recently you guys have just shared a tweet with me as well that Borussia Dortmund have placed a 172 million price tag on Erling Haaland. That kind of tells me that Chelsea's probably not going to be in the race when Erling Haaland is going to be 75 million next year with the buyout clause being triggered. I know a lot more other clubs will be interested and whatnot, but Chelsea should hold themselves high. We're the European champions. So, if you want to come somewhere, this is the place to be. Thomas Tuchel, young players and whatnot. So do you see this whole Giroud thing as we're looking to sell him, or that maybe we keep him and then we go for some of the big dogs next season?
Firstly, with the Giroud contract extension, I don't think anything negative can come from it. So if we've extended the guy and we plan to use him exactly how we use him now and not give him many minutes, but he'll always be that option when things are looking a bit pear-shaped and we want to stick someone just to try and fling in crosses and nod them in, we'll always have that option. But I think it's purely done on the financial part to get some money for him because, like Ameya said, it was signed in April. So if AC Milan are negotiating with the guy, they know, obviously through the agents, that this guy has signed a new deal and that happened in April. So they're still negotiating with him, knowing that that's a bit, so they know they might have to pay a fee or whatever. I don't think it's going to be as high as Ameya said, from 10 to 15. I think we'd literally sell the guy for about 5 million.
Fair enough.
Because I think with the age, it's going to be hard to get higher than that.
Very difficult.
But with that, I don't think they're looking at it with the whole, at most he's going to be a bit part option. So I don't think they're looking at it saying, oh, if we don't get a striker, he'll always be there. I think it's more the get the financials in and they'll still look for a striker. If not, see, I do get the thing with, you can't have him and Tammy leave then. But then because of what he's done for us, I can't see us holding him and saying, look, you can't go, because it's kind of up to him as well now. I know the ball is in our court, but I think if he really wants to go, they will still let him go, but just for a minimal fee. Just like, I can't see us signing a secondary striker. You probably have to go with Werner, Havertz, and then probably look to just get one of the big ones that we have been trying to get, or if not, like a more secondary one. I know I made it like Ings, but we don't even get linked to Ings. It'd probably have to be someone like
fan-driven, bro. Ings is completely fan-driven.
You get the odd Andre Silva link and stuff like that. Yeah. But I don't know, like you said, Miz, with Haaland, next summer, 75 million, we should be right up there and we'd be European champions. But by then, there'll be a new European champion unless we do it again. So that one becomes
honestly, I don't see how we cannot emulate again. Do you know what I mean? Like, this team is so young. It's not like this team was on their final legs and we finally got it. Wasn't like 2012. Like, this team is literally so young. I don't see how we don't do it again. If we can add a couple of players to the mix, I don't see how we don't win it again. Do you know what I mean?
That format suits us so much more than the Premier League. Because when I imagine our team now, even with a striker, I still don't picture us winning the league next season. I think we should be in contention. But if you were to ask me realistically, do you think we are winning the league? I'd probably say we'll come second and we'll push thereabouts. But like Champions League, in terms of knocking a team out over 2 legs, the away goals rule is gone now as well. I'm not a fan. Like, I was a fan of the rules. They should have changed it a bit with extra time. But in terms of
what's this? The away goal rule for next season's gone.
Yeah, abolished.
I think it's been passed by, like, it has to be passed by 2 committees in the UEFA. It's been passed by the first one unanimously, so then they're waiting for the second one to pass it. And once it's done,
when did this happen?
Happened
like 2 weeks back.
Where was the hype?
You know what, Miz? We have literally won the last proper Champions League. We'll always have that with us now.
So there's no away. So what's the point? Just play 2, neutral venues. Like, I don't get it.
I think neutral venues is one of the reasons why they did it, but you're not sure whether next season neutral venues will even need to exist, because hopefully by next season with the vaccine and stuff like that people will start getting into stadiums and you'd have home and away as usual. They should have taken it out for extra time in the second leg, because then it gets unfair, but I don't see why they abolished it overall. But yeah, that's going away from it. Just the format suits us. Like, in 2 legs, I back us against any team pretty much. And I don't think that's going to change with how young our players are.
So what does it matter about the 2 legs anymore? I mean, I'll go to you, Ameya. Like, this is interesting. I had no idea about this. So what does it matter about 2 legs? Just play the one-off leg. Like, if away goals are not going to count, I just don't get it. Like, honestly, that was the whole beauty about the away leg, to get that goal. Do you know what I mean? Because it's worth a lot. Well, how does it matter with 2 legs now?
I mean, I just think that it counts as a normal goal, right? Even if it's an away goal, it counts the same as if you'd scored at home. So I don't know.
They do it this way in the championship, like, the playoffs in the semi-finals and stuff. They've always done it this way. It's just Europe that's had it different. But it was a very good system in terms of an away goal counting for more.
Because it allows the away team to come out. Do you know what I mean? Like, or else just sit back, park the bus. Do you know what I mean? I'll see you guys at home. It gives an incentive for the away team to play some football.
But then, Miz, at the same time, you could say, because an away goal means more, that like the home teams were more cautious, and now because everything's a level playing field, it might be a bit more all out, where if you lose a goal and you're the home team and they've scored an away goal, it don't count for anything. So you just carry on and do your own thing.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, there's always both sides of the coin, isn't it? Like, that's what it is.
But it's annoying, Miz. Like, it's annoying. Like, just say you win a game 4-3 away, and then you go home and you lose 1-0, and that game goes to penalties. It just doesn't make sense, because you scored 4 goals in their stadium. It's that's the hard thing.
Exactly. That's how it is actually in the AFC Cup, like the Asian stuff. I mean, I follow it a lot.
Yeah.
So it's the other way. It's what you mentioned earlier. Actually, it was like they count the away goals in 90 minutes, but in the second leg, if it's all tied up and then it goes to extra time, then the away goals don't count. So if you lose 2-1 and then you lose, and then it's 2-1 after 90 minutes, but after 120 minutes, if it's 3-2, then it still goes to penalties.
Because we got messed around with that rule. Do you remember when we lost in extra time to Paris Saint-Germain, where Louis scored and Thiago Silva was good? We only went out that day because of that ruling. So
it does make sense what you said, Kishan, in regards to maybe in extra time you lay off that away goal, because it does become a bit harsh that now it's gone to extra time and all of a sudden whatever they score is 2. It is harsh. That is harsh. Maybe that's something they could have looked at. Ladies and gentlemen, 80 people logged on right now. Smash the like button. Get it to at least 80 likes. Secondly, my panelists over here, check out their socials in the description. Ameya's got a YouTube channel, so go out there and subscribe right away. The link is there. And get those likes up to at least 50. And if you're here for the first time, subscribe. And that pretty much brings us till the end of this segment of Chelsea News. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of banter, a lot of funny stuff that's been going around. Next time we will be here again on Sunday next week, 11:30. It may be a different flavor. We could have a bit of a Euros flavor to it, because Euros we would have seen first couple of games of Euros.
We play. England play at 2:00 on Sunday as well. So
Yeah, so it could be a different flavor next week. There may be some Chelsea news, but some Euros news. I've got another big guest lined up this upcoming week, so do look out for that. This is going to be, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. That's all I'm going to say. You're going to get some proper insights into many different players, because, this particular person, is pretty much involved on a day-to-day basis with all of these players. So it'll be interesting to know exactly everything from that perspective.
Got Thomas Tuchel coming on.
We've got Tactical Tuchel coming on. And then, so we've got that. We've got that special news coming up, that special guest coming up. And then from Thursday, I've got Rabona TV, Adrian from Rabona TV, an absolute footballing connoisseur. He's going to come in and we're going to start reviewing the Euros, Euro 2020 on 2021, which is strange. So, that'll be good. Lots of Euro stuff happening. I'm going to be following Germany. So if you guys are keen, Kai Havertz and Timo, because Germany's my team, so I'm going to follow Germany. And luckily enough, we've got Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, Rudiger. And who knows, maybe some upcoming talent could come out from there as well. And someone that Chelsea could be interested. I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see that. And obviously all other Chelsea players, wherever they are playing, I'll be obviously reporting on that as well. So guys, do check out for that last super chat before we wrap things up. About Haaland being cheap next year. What if BVB signs a new contract with him this year? He won't be cheap anymore. Well, look, ifs and buts, I suppose you're right. Anything can happen, but that's up to...
He won't sign one. Yeah, he won't sign.
That's the thing. He wouldn't sign that. He wouldn't be happy. Like, he wouldn't do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, he knows that he's probably staying here for one more season because he's got the Champions League, and they're probably going to lose Sancho. They're not going to lose 2 players. Unless, they've slapped 176 million. So unless they, Chelsea or any other team, comes up with all that cash, with 2 bucket loads of suitcase, here we go, 176 million. I really can't see it happening. So, and next season, I think Haaland knows. I think that's probably the agreement with Borussia Dortmund, that one more season and then I'm gone. So, I can't really see that happening. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. The beautiful game. Honestly, thank you so much, my man. You've been absolutely brilliant. Big up Ms. Kishan and Amir. It's not Amir, it's Ameya. Amir is actually my dad's name, by the way. So if my dad was here, then that would have been...
get him on next week.
Get him on next week. All right, ladies and gentlemen, take care and see ya. We'll catch you guys again soon.